and welcome back to JayJays PC Builds. Good to see y'all back here once again. Today is going to be my first vlog I'm going to be doing on this channel, so it's going to be a first, so do bear with me. We're going to do the best we can. Let's get started. Let's see, what's on the market today? Let's go ahead and look at the 4090, Nvidia 4090 GeForce RTX. It's supposed to have 23 phase clean power. That's going to be interesting to find out. Past Wednesday, it looks like the reveal of a printed circuit PCB, sorry, design GeForce 4090. We'll show you that in a moment. The PCB has got a single phase 12 plus 4 pin and an additional PCIe Gen 5 power. That's interesting to know, because that right there, that means that this card here, if I'm thinking right, this card here is only gonna run on Gen 5, if that's the case. I mean, but the question that I've been bringing up is will it run on Gen 4? They're making an awesome card, but will it run like the 3090 Ti or the 3090 or the 3080? Will it run the same way on Gen 4 as it will Gen 5? Now, let's say you don't want to upgrade and you want to keep your Gen 4 system. Okay, well, if that's the case, then basically you would need a heavier power supply, because from the way this looks is that 600 watts of power that you can max this thing out to. Okay, but it's huge. It's huge. From what I've been watching on the video from Nvidia, that thing is huge. I mean, taking up 3.5 slots. That's quite a bit of slots. But you look at it this way too. You got, what, 5 to 6 slots on the back of your computer. Okay, well, are you using a capture card? You got to keep that in the prospects. Are you just using it for a single gaming unit? If you're using it for a single gaming unit, one, you'll use the sound off of the motherboard, so that's not going to be an issue. If you bought a motherboard that already has Wi-Fi built on it, it already has all the features you need that's built onto the motherboard, taking up 3.5 slots is not such a bad thing. Because if you look at it, if you look inside your computer and you see how many slots you have, like in my computer, I have a MATX motherboard. Okay, it only has PCIe 16, and it has one or two 1 slots. But, oh, sorry, had to itch. But I'm not utilizing any of those slots. So with not utilizing any of them slots, and you're ready to utilize 1 slot for the video card, then basically all those open-end slots are not going to make a difference. Not at all. I mean, if you get 23 phase power source that's on this video card, then I don't really see it really becoming a problem. But that's only if you're pushing the video card up to 600 watts. If you're pushing it up to 450 watts or 300 watts, 250 watts, well, then basically, you don't have much to worry about. But if you're if you're an enthusiast and you want to overclock it to its maximum performance, then I suggest you get a big power supply. A lot of people has been telling me that it's best to recommend between 1,000 and 1,200 watts to run that video card with your system, which I agree to. It's kind of overkill for 1,200 watts, but if you really think about it, it's not. Okay, if you want to run it to its full potential and just kill it, I mean, if you run a card for a long period of time at its max potential, sooner or later those transistors and diodes and resistors and capacitors and so on, they'll tend to fail. And then you'll have to take and send the card out to get it fixed and everything else. And by the time you get it back, then you're looking at about a month to 2 months later. Is it really worth to kill your card to run it at its max power? No, it's not. If you're going to run 600 watts, you're basically, between the processor and your video card, you probably look at about maybe 750 watts, about 750, 800 watts, close to it. And the thing is that it's going to heat up your room like crazy. But if you run it respectably, then you look at between maybe 350, 400 watts respectively, all the way around. So, but if you're looking for price to performance, I'm not really set on the RTX 4090, not just yet. Because price for performance, you can still get a 3090 Ti that's more price for the performance. If you're looking far as frequency, this is my point in professional view. Okay, the thing is this: I have a few video cards, a few, that run at frequencies that are not even up to 1 gigahertz. Since I don't really run many games like Fortnite and GTA 5 and stuff like that, I don't really play those, but I do play on Steam. I play battleship games and stuff like that, like Steam Eve and maybe CSGO, but anything else, I really don't. Sorry about that. I really don't play those. Also, too, I play live 3D games online, but respectively, for what I have in my system's the B450 from Asus. It's the MACLEOD system. I run it with the Ryzen 5 5600G. Yeah, I use the APU instead of a discrete GPU, because the games I play don't demand me to have that video card. So if it's not demanding me to have that video card, then I don't see the sense of me spending $600 for like a 4090 RTX 4090. I don't see me spending $1,600 for a card like that. if you got the money and you want, the best of the best of the best, I mean, then the 4090 would be the best way to go. But for price to performance, you might get it and you might not. Then they got the two 4080s, one that's got 16 gigabytes of VRAM and the one that's got 12 gigabytes of VRAM. When you get the 4080 with the 12 gigabytes of VRAM, you need to ask yourself the question, is it going to perform the same way as the 16 gig? No. Is it going to perform the same as the 4090? No. Are you going to get the same benefits as the 4090 with the 4080? No. So basically, you're paying for bits and pieces. Now, if you're going to spend $13, $12, $899 for one card, you're going to spend $1,300 for another card, and then you're going to spend $1,600 for another card. Your best to just go right to the top and spend for the $1,600 if you're really wanting a video card. I mean, if you want to get the best of the best, $1,600, then the $1,600 card will be right for you. But in my opinion, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on the 3090 Ti or the 6600 from AMD. That would be more my speed. I think the 6600 would be more on price to performance for me. But as far as like the 1660 Super and all them, those are overpriced cards. Okay, don't let anybody fool you. The GPU market is not stable. It's not. The prices come down a little bit, but not enough to appease your wallet, if you're wanting my opinion. Which I'm giving it to you, and it's not enough to fix the market at this point in time. I think I'm going to give it till next year, 2023, to see where the market's going to land. For right now, all I can do is tell you the market has not landed in price to performance. I mean, if you look at it, they're taking and selling cards that the manufacturers don't even update the drivers for anymore, but they're selling them for $200 to $300 to $400. Why would I buy, and ask yourself this question, why would I buy a card that the manufacturer stopped updating the drivers for? Ask yourself that question. Why would you buy a card that the manufacturer stopped upgrading back 5, 6, 7 years ago? I mean, out-of-date drivers, your computer will run as good as when they stopped updating the drivers for that card. Or you can take and keep up to current date with the most live and current cards. You know, like if you search for, the GPU you want, I mean, I don't, 4090, that seems like it's going to be a good one. But also, too, remember, AMD is going to have our DNA 3 coming out soon. That's going to be an interesting one. and that's the 7000 series. You know, that looks like it's going to be an interesting card. So what if AMD come out with something that's going to be better than Nvidia? My whole bag is this, okay? Sorry about the hesitating and pausing and everything, because I just got so much in my mind, and it's crazy, okay? Let's say AMD comes out with their new 7000 series and turns around and it blows the Nvidia's 40 series out of the water. Just blows it out of the water. Okay, and everybody put their focus on the 40 series, and they spent $1,600 on the 40 series from Nvidia, and then turned around, AMD said, boom, here we go. We got something better for you. And just blows the market up. This could be a big game changer. This Nvidia should be worried about, think about what AMD has coming out. Okay, everybody's looking to tip their hats and say this was in my hands, but you're not. You know, I'm waiting to see what's going to happen. When it reaches January of 2023, that will tell me who has what. Okay, so I'm kind of playing the waiting game right now. You know, like I tell y'all, if you want to get a graphics card right now, okay, then you know you can go AMD, or you know you can go Nvidia, or don't forget, you got Intel too. They're trying to get their graphics cards out too. I haven't explored Intel yet, but maybe in a video or two we'll explore it together. You know what I mean? So what I'm going to do is this. While you all are here, I'm just going to take and go to Amazon real quick and just type in Amazon. I'll just take you with me. I don't have a screen capture card yet, but I will soon. And when I do, I can take you all physically with me. So you have to bear with me until I get to that point of being, you know, like the other content creators, being up and above and beyond, to where you can see everything. So do bear with me. I got one camera. I'm kind of doing my best here for you. Okay, let's see. Let's go to the graphics cards. Okay. Now, with the graphics cards, I mean, I've been seeing this a lot, that where, you know, even the Zotac has a graphics card. It's the it's GeForce RTX 3050 Twin Edge OC, 8 gigabytes, GDDR6, 128-bit, you know, and it's PCIe 4.0. And guess what? That's $299. That is $299 for that card. Okay, I'll show you a screenshot of this. So don't worry, you'll get a screenshot. So we'll save you a screenshot. We'll just take and we'll reach up right here and we'll just hit print screen. Okay, well, the thing is this. If you're wanting to buy a graphics card, okay, and just play games and stuff, you don't need high end to play low end games. Okay, this is the thing that I'm gonna make a point to, is that you don't need a high-end graphics card. To be honest with you, you really don't. Because if I'm looking right, you know, you got many graphics cards. Okay, so within the price range, let's go down to the price range. Basic price range is this. Okay, if you want a $299 card, you know, or you want a $319 card, you want a $270 card, you want a $304 card. Okay, so they got Asus has the GeForce RTX 2060 overclocked 6 gigs, GDR6 dual fan, EVO edition, VR ready. Ooh, that's only $270. Okay, that's not a bad card. That's a really good one. That's if you want to stay in, you know, Nvidia line. You know, you got another one right here that is the 3050. Okay, but Gigabyte has a 3050 and so does Zotac. Okay, they're both pretty much, I couldn't say equal, but I would take in for, see, Gigabyte wants for their 3050, they want $319, and you go over to Zotac, they want $299 for theirs. Okay, price for apples. Okay, it's still under $300. Now the Gigabyte one's over $300, but the Zotac one is under $300. It's right at the price point of $300. And what does it give you? It gives you PCI Express 16. It gives you the GeForce. It gives you 8 gigabytes of VRAM. It gives you GDR6. It gives you 128-bit memory bus. The memory clock speeds at 1807 megahertz, and you know, I mean, to me, this card right here would have double my RAM. That's on one of my older cards, because they only got 4 gigs. This is 8 gigs. Okay, to me, that would be a big jump. Okay, because that card for the 4 gigs I spent $100 for. Okay, now this $200, $300 with more core, more, you know, more everything. I don't think you can beat that. For $300, I think that's a pretty fair deal. So, and this is just a talking head video, y'all. I'm gonna take this to about maybe 45 minutes on this video. So y'all just bear with me. We're just taking you a trip down the current pricing of video cards. Current, I mean, this is live, real life pricing. This is not, this is where I'm going on Amazon, where the normal shopper goes, okay, and goes and looks at all the prices and makes my determination which one's going to be the best card. Now, we looked through some of Nvidia's cards. Now, I'm going to switch over to AMD and see what AMD has to offer. Well, let's see. For $259, they have the AMD Radeon RX 6600. It's 8 gigabytes, GDDR6. It's $259. Let's look at the card. Let's go ahead and just see what we got right here. Oh, I'm sorry, I got to duck over y'all. Okay, now, price to apples for $259. The AMD RX 6600 has 8 gigabytes of VRAM. Okay, the GPU clock speed is 2491 megahertz. Okay, and it clocks up, game clock up to 2044, boost clock to 2491. It has 128-bit GDDR6, and it has an 8-pin power pin, and it's PCI Express 4.0. Now, if y'all just remember what I just said about the 3050, okay, now the 3050 is priced at almost $300. Now, this is the RX 6600, and it still has AMD RDNA 2, which it's still got good, decent, wholesome graphics. I mean, it's the Sapphire Pulse. I'll tell you what, for price to performance, ooh lordy, I can see that right there. That 6600 is just a top seller. Just a top seller, because you're seeing almost 5 stars all the way across the board. You got one that's for $258. It's the Power Color RX 6600. That's $1. Well, that's $1 less than the Sapphire. Yeah, $1 less. They both have the same thing. They both do the same thing. Awesome. See, that's the thing. When you all go shopping for cards, right? And you're looking for price to apples, and you want to be able to save $1 or $2. Well, the only way you're going to save $1 or $2 is this: is if when you're looking for what you want. Me, I'm looking for what I want. I'm going to tell you, for me looking for what I want for personal, I'm looking to see what I want. Okay, I don't want to get something that's all out of date, that you can't get new drivers for, that you can't get the new features and everything else. Because ask yourself this question: when these new cards that AMD and Nvidia launch, ask yourself this question: are the drivers going to be updated for the 3090? Are the drivers going to be updated for, let's say, the 6800 XT? Or are they going to discontinue those and go to the next series and update those drivers instead of the cards you already paid for, those drivers? Makes sense? So basically, the 30 series, are they going to keep updating the drivers? Because you know that's going to discontinue. So think about it. And think very hard about it, and let's go from there. Now, price to apples, I tell you that I would go with the AMD Radeon RX 6600 with the 8GB GDDR6. That would be my choice of cards right now. As looking at the card, it's got two fans. Fan's got a lot of blades on it. It looks like it's got 3 display ports. It's got 1 HDMI port, and 1 8-pin connector. So basically you can run that off of maybe a 750 watt power supply, maybe 650, but I'd recommend anything above 750 watts on a power supply, and with the processor I have right now, the Ryzen 5 5600G, I would imagine this would be a good match with those two, the 6600 and that would be a great match. For the simple fact is that on the Ryzen 5 5600G, I can push the max of VRAM out of that to 2 gigabytes. So adding a discrete card gives it more room to breathe, basically. So if I want to give it a little bit more legs, I would go with the RX 6600 from AMD. $259 on this one here. Looking on the prices, that would be the way to go. Look, if you're new starting to build your system, right? I've been doing this since 1986. Okay, I built my own systems. I've upgraded my own systems. I've repaired my own systems. I've done everything on my own. Okay, I've learned all these years that if I want to build a system and I want to make it right, then where you need to start is you need to start with the processor. Okay, you start with the processor and then go to the motherboard and then pick out your RAM and then you pick out your graphics card. Okay, now I've already tested the Asus motherboard and with the Ryzen 5 5600G with the, even this Asus motherboard's a B450. Now, everybody's saying, well, don't go with the B450. It doesn't have the advantages of the 550. When I get the 550, the B550 motherboard, I'm going to test it against the 450, and we're going to see price for apples if the 550 was a better choice than the 450.